Hello, welcome to Growing in Uncertainty. My name is Tess Miller, and through my seminar and coaching business, Wings Unfolded, I help professionals who are ready to transition to the life for which they were made. Transitions can be scary and challenging, especially when what used to make you happy in your life doesn't anymore. Sometimes we feel stuck in a transition, not knowing what the next best steps could be. And I believe that life is actually a series of transitions. We're constantly developing and growing and becoming the people that we're supposed to be in mind, body, and spirit. My intention is to help people through their life transitions by sharing how I'm continuing to learn and grow and develop in navigating my own transitions. So through these videos, I offer tips and insights and ideas and maybe even some courage about getting through the times in your life when you are feeling stuck so that you can keep moving in the direction that serves your highest good. A big topic has been bubbling to the surface of my awareness in the last couple of weeks for two reasons, really. The first reason is because many of my clients have been dealing with various issues related to this topic, and I personally have been dealing with various issues related to this topic. And because I intentionally invite you on my own transitional journeys, I knew I had to talk about this one, even though it's a major pain point for me right now. As they say, the best way to learn anything is to teach it. And so that's what I will be doing today and next week, and maybe for a few weeks after that too. But what is the topic? The topic of today is self-doubt. Self-doubt is involved in our lives when there's that voice that makes you second guess yourself, or you have to double or triple check everything that you're doing, or maybe you decide you don't want to do something after all, even though you've devoted your entire life to doing a certain thing. You decide you don't want to do it because, you're just not into it, when really it's because you're a little bit afraid about doing it. Self-doubt can also look like you limiting your aspirations and keeping yourself small. You say, oh, I can't really do that because, and you come up with all kinds of convincing reasons why you can't. Or it could be that you're really nervous about doing something career related, even though you have more training and experience than anybody else in the room. Or you defer to other people around you, but then you feel really frustrated because you see what they do and you feel like, I would have done it this way, or I could have done a better job. So these are just a few examples of how self-doubt can sabotage your dreams or your life and how you want to express and be yourself in the world. I have certainly done this. Almost everyone I know has experienced some form of self-doubt, and it's one of the major contributors to making and keeping us stuck in our lives. In fact, I have a whole section in my upcoming book, the Book of Stuck, devoted to self-doubt, and you can actually pre-order this book. It's almost done. You can pre-order it on my website, www.tess-miller.com. And if you want to get a preview of that section that I have in my book about self-doubt, for a short time, if you subscribe to my email list, you will get for free the segment on self-doubt that's in my book. So go check that out. My current bout of self-doubt has been brought on by something that should actually be cause for celebration. I'm also a therapeutic musician. I work at a hospital near my hometown, and I provide live music at the bedside of the ill and dying. I haven't been able to do that for the last year because of the pandemic, but recently the hospital said that the conditions were right and I could go back and play. The only catch is that because of a desire to limit aerosol spread in that environment, understandably, I'm not allowed to play my alto flute or sing. Those are my two main instruments. But I also play a ukulele, and that one does not spread aerosols. Up until this point in my life, I've used the ukulele only to accompany myself while singing. It's not really my main instrument. But if I want to continue doing what I love, which is to provide relaxing music to help promote the body's natural healing response, then I have to adapt. So I am adapting, but as you might understand, my self-doubt is being triggered by this experience because I don't feel completely comfortable with these limitations yet. I'm second-guessing my abilities, even though I've played this instrument for 8 years so far. I'm not trusting my training. I'm worried that the patients won't like what I'm doing. I'm holding myself back from trying things because I'm afraid of what the nurses might think. And the silliest thing of all is that although I'm noticing that patients are responding positively to the music, the messages of self-doubt are so overwhelming that, that's all I can seem to hear in my head as I walk around the hospital. Self-doubt begins as a trickle, but each little droplet of self-doubt adds up, and eventually the bucket fills to overflowing unless we do something fast. But where does self-doubt come from? Well, our past experiences. As kids, we collect messages from the people and experiences we encounter. These messages get interpreted by us and become filters through which we see the world. The messages help keep us safe, understandably. For example, one of my personal messages as a kid was that no matter how hard I tried, it wouldn't be good enough. Where did I get that message? I actually have no idea. But I can point to several times in my life when I have felt that way. That message has become a filter for me. I look through it and I'm able to find proof and validation for the message whenever anything in my life doesn't turn out quite the way I wanted it to. Over time, I've had to work on this message and remind myself that it's just a thought with no roots in reality. Several of my previous videos have talked about listening to but not believing our thoughts to the point where I realize they may sound like a broken record. Hopefully that repetition just makes it sink in a little deeper. So self-doubt is something that often comes from past experiences. But it can also come from our self-concept. How we see ourselves in the world and what we value in life can play a huge role in self-doubt. For example, I value fairness, equality, and equity. These are great things when you're talking about building a just and fair society. But taken to another extreme, in my case, it can become a form of keeping myself small. I'm afraid people will think I'm overbearing if I stand out or be myself in any way. I'm afraid I'll think too highly of myself, and then when I fall flat on my face, I'll have to feel all manner of shame. In my case at the hospital, I'm thinking, who am I to play this instrument I just taught myself? And who am I to play it in public for other people in a therapeutic setting? It took me years to develop my flute and voice skills, and therefore I think it's only fair that it should take that long on the ukulele, right? So we know what self-doubt is, but how do we get rid of it? The answer is we don't. I've come to realize that self-doubt is like bacteria. There's good bacteria and there's bad bacteria. The trick to self-doubt is figuring out when it's good for you and when it has taken on unhealthy proportions. Believe it or not, self-doubt actually wants to help us. Self-doubt has taught me a lot about being prepared for things like performances and presentations. It has also taught me about knowing and questioning what my limitations are. For example, I'm a runner. I run every day, but I've never run a marathon. Self-doubt tells me that training would probably be an important thing to do if I wanted to run a marathon, which I don't. There's nothing wrong with questioning your ability to do something. It can actually keep you safe and solid in your daily interactions. But you have to know the difference between healthy doubt and unhealthy doubt. So if self-doubt is something that can be beneficial, how do you know if it's unhealthy, and what can you do to treat it so that you're not stuck? Before I get into that, I want to share another analogy I've been working with. Several years ago, I had intense sciatic pain. Your sciatic nerve runs from your lower back down to your feet. My sciatic nerve was being compressed at the time due to too much sitting while driving and rehearsing in orchestras. After going to a doctor, it was decided that the best form of treatment would be to do some physical therapy. It took weeks of physical therapy and then continued exercises at home to finally get relief. But when it was all done, I was pain-free, I was stronger, and I knew exactly what I needed to do if it ever happened again. That's how we need to treat self-doubt. When you are feeling compressed in your life, when there's the pain of being stuck in a life that's no longer working for you, your self-doubt is unhealthy. And it's time to strengthen the muscles that are surrounding the compressed self-doubt. These muscles may not have been worked in a really long time, but there are simple and effective exercises that can strengthen them. The muscles that need strengthening include self-confidence, self-awareness, self-esteem, self-worth, self-compassion, self-love, and self-appreciation. When we strengthen these muscles, we open up the space around self-doubt so that it has room to air out. Energy can flow once we do this, and we aren't stuck anymore. We're self-empowered. Over the course of the next few weeks or so, I will be offering ways to develop each of the self-empowerment muscles. I'll offer tips, insights, and exercises that you can try. Together, we will work on any self-doubt that's creeping up to our awareness and strengthen ourselves from the inside out so we can get free. Which brings me to my focus word for 2021, freedom. Self-doubt, when we shine a light wherever it shows up in our lives, can be a path to personal freedom. I firmly believe that the only way to deal with whatever keeps us stuck is to go through it. So, through we go into our self-doubt, and we'll meet on the other side, stronger and freer versions of ourselves. Join me next week when I start to dive into strengthening our self-empowerment muscles. I'd love to hear how this message resonates with you. Please like and or share these videos with friends and family who would benefit from these topics. You can also stay in touch with what I'm offering by subscribing to my weekly email list. And remember, you'll get that free gift of that portion of my book on self-doubt when you do that. I deliver free resources, updates, and developments straight to your inbox each week. And if you're ready to embark on making some real transitions in your life, consider setting up a free coaching session with me. You can sign up on my website, www.tess-miller.com. Go to Services, click on the Test Your Wings complimentary session, and set up a time on my calendar. You can also find me on Facebook under my business name, Wings Unfolded, or you can find me by name, Tess Miller, on Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Feel free to send me a private message. I'd love to connect with you. Remember that it's okay to be stuck, but you don't have to stay there. Take care and have an amazing